Good evening. It's Anna from Mimsy's Garden. I was just issued a challenge and I'm accepting from Mountain View Homestead. And it's going to be a fused together video. I just wanted to do an introduction to it this evening. I'll probably finish it tomorrow and just clip all this together. About reasons to be passionate towards homesteading. Got a lot to think about on this. I know my main reason for starting Mimsy's Garden and for homesteading was because of my own personal health issues and my mom's and my husband's dad. And those two live with me, so I'm responsible for taking care of them and their health and well-being. And so I try to feed them as organically as possible. Now, their diets are not like mine. Mine's a more stricter ketogenic, very low carb, no sugar type deal. They needed a little bit more than that because they are older. I've told y'all my mom is almost 80. She'll be 80 in May, and my father-in-law is 79. He's 78. He'll be 79 in March, next March. So, or maybe I got that backwards. Anyway, he's 79, going to be 80 in March. He just turned 79. So, when she came here, she was living in Tennessee. My brother had moved her there from West Virginia, which is where she was. And she had this huge mass in her abdominal cavity that's pressing against the spine, wrapped around all kinds of vessels that could not do any type of surgery on it to remove it. And she has a lot of gallstones, more than 10. And they could not remove that because of the entanglement with the mass. So her choice was not to do anything. The surgeon here had wanted to send her to a transplant surgeon a couple hours from here, and he thought that would maybe the guy was so talented, or I don't know really how to describe it, intricate, that he could do something to remove the tumor, but she would have never lived through that. When I brought her here, she had been in the hospital in Tennessee for 21 days, and I didn't think she was going to live 72 hours. I mean, she was in really, really bad shape when I brought her here, and that was in March of 2014. So I've had her almost 5 years, and I have her very cognitive. She was way over medicated, I do believe, and her diet was horrible. She's a sugar addict and she loves chocolate, and she still asks for it, and every now and then I'll let her have a little smidgen of it, but we pay for it when we do. So I have to be the bad guy and say no a lot. And then my father-in-law, he was very malnourished when he got here, and he had some passing out spells, and he didn't tell us, and he couldn't remember to tell us, and I wasn't able to go check on him like I was before I brought Mom here, because once I brought her here, that was a 24/7 thing, and so I wasn't seeing him like I was when I worked at the clinic and was going by there every day at lunch hour and taking him lunch, or making sure he had what he needed. He developed cataracts on his eyes and couldn't drive, and he didn't tell me. He lied. He would say, "Yeah, I've been to the store, da 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 da," and he had not eaten. He'd go days without eating. And I brought him here under much duress and fight and stubbornness and not wanting to, but the poor little fellow was starving to death, and he couldn't see. So I was feeding him all kinds of vegetables and avocados and broccoli and all that good stuff. And he was just tearing it up. And now it's like we've gotten his eyes fixed and he can see it and he doesn't want any part of it. He's always picking his vegetables away and complaining about stomach issues and stuff. And I'm like, well, you got to eat your vegetables if you want to go regular. You know, old people, they like to talk about their troubles. So, but anyway, so I think my main passion for homesteading started with health and nutrition and organic vegetables, and then I developed the passion to learn how to grow them myself and how to preserve them and how to can. And so, of course, that's transferred to my own eating habits, and I've lost 80 pounds in 2 years. It's been a real slow go because I have Graves' disease and autoimmune disorders that keep things slowed down, crashed adrenals and all that jazz. But I am so much healthier now, and I get out when I work in the garden. I spend all day today weeding and hoeing and shoveling and turning dirt and, all that great stuff that's just very intriguing. And I'm passionate about my garden. I've got it looking good, and I'm very happy with it. So far, I'm not finished. I didn't get everything done today that I wanted to do, and we've got a big rain coming in for the next week. But I wanted to get it looking good, and I'll be adding some clips in and showing that along the way. But looks like I've just about finished this video, and I thought I was going to have to break it up in a couple places, so I don't guess I will. I do want to issue the challenge to tell us what you're passionate about to Homesteading the Hard Way, Chris and Darlene. I like Mr. Chris. I love Darlene. Mr. Chris is just, he is country as the day is long. I talk with a slang and a southern drawl. He's got one going on too. He's got that hillbilly slang, and I love it. My sister-in-law's from close to where he lives, and she talks like that too, so I totally understand him. Some people don't understand my language, but it's just redneck. That's all it is. All it is. Let's see, who else can we challenge and get a good response out of? I'll have to think about that a little bit. Nobody in particular is coming to mind right off the bat. I'm trying to think of a smaller channel. I know. Mississippi Gulf Coast gardener Bobby Whidden. I challenged him in the last one, and I'm going to do it again because I like the way he thinks. Him and his wife are doing keto too, and they've been putting out recipes, and I've really enjoyed watching them. So maybe he'll get his wife going on one of these videos and let us see her. She's always hiding. So come on out there, Miss Whidden. Let's see what you got going on. Tell us what you're passionate about. Thanks, Mountain View Homestead, for that challenge. I'm totally honored that you thought of me. That just blows my mind. I really enjoy y'all's videos and what you're doing there, and all the animals. I'm an animal person too. I love them. I like animals better than most humans most of the time. I have 2 long-haired Dachshunds in the house, and a golden retriever outside, 2 cats outside. I did have 3 horses, and I sold them November before last because we were going to have a real wet, harsh winter, and I was really, really sick at the time and unable to get hay into them like they needed to be. Our bottom field down there is real boggy, and I was having to roll those big, huge round bales by hand down the hill to get to them, and I just didn't have the strength to do it at that time, and it just wasn't fair. And they were being pasture ornaments, and a good horse needs a good job, so I sold them. I miss them horribly. I look down there all the time, and I just wish they were there, but they weren't working horses. They were just play pretties and pasture ornaments, and they needed a home where they could have jobs. And so they have that now, and they're in good shape and being well taken care of. The main horse that my younger daughter had passed away, and it was just hard. That was an awesome horse. She was a mounted traffic horse, quarter horse, registered quarter horse, and she was used by the mounted police in Mobile, Alabama, and she was amazing. She would do anything you tell her to do. The only thing is, when we rode her out on the road, you better be prepared, because she knew her job was to stop traffic, and she didn't mind stepping out in front of an 18-wheeler. Now, we were riding on a rural road, so they weren't going fast. They could have done some damage. She knew her job, and she taught us a few things. She was great, though, but she passed away, and she was older. I think the vet said she was between 26 and 28 years old, and she just one year started dropping weight, and we just could not get it back on her. We would have her teeth floated and mash the grain and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, she went on and crossed over Rainbow Bridge, and I totally miss that girl. And I miss my other two. I had a little paint. Oh, goodness, my mind just went blank. Saddlebred. She was a saddlebred. She was my young girl, and my oldest daughter, gave her to me for my birthday one year. And I sent her to be trained, and I would ride her, and I always ended up on the ground, because I'm real short, and she was real spooky. She looked for stuff to spook at. And then we had a quarter horse Arabian mix, and he was fast. I never rode him. He was fast, and I knew I would never be able to hang on. My youngest daughter would ride him. And the one that he belonged to, she got him at a stockyard sale for $15. He was great. He was beautiful, big horse. Beautiful. But, I just wasn't able to do it at that time. And since the girls are grown and married, they weren't here to do it either. So it just wasn't fair. Wasn't fair for them to be out there doing nothing at all. So, but anyway, my neighbor, she's got goats and chickens and rabbits, and she's trying to talk me into going to the goat business with her. I don't see that happening. I do want a rabbit, though. Just for the rabbit poop. Y'all know I'm all about that rabbit poop in my garden. So I might do that. Might get a rabbit for the granddaughter at Easter and keep it here at Mimsy's. Because they live in an apartment anyway. They can't have the rabbit, but she can have a rabbit here at Mimsy's, right? Anyway, that went on a rabbit trail from thanking Mountain View Homestead for the challenge and thinking of me. Y'all have a good evening.